1019 KACQ.
Good afternoon. I'm Casey Chapman here with your local Lampasas area news. This newscast is service of Hoff Power Ranch and Supply. It was a very quiet weekend for LPD. Officers did go out on a loud music complaint in the 1400 block of West 4th and were sent out to check on a suspicious vehicle in the 900 block of South Spring, and suspicious activity reported on Lively. A few non-injury wrecks were cleared up, including one in the 800 block of South Key, the 600 block of North Key, and the 900 block of North Key. A 29-year-old homeless man was arrested in the 1700 block of East Central Texas Expressway for a DWI. The county booked in a 35-year-old Cove woman for DWI in possession of a controlled substance. A 32-year-old Killeen man was taken in for possession of fraudulent use of identifying information and 3 counts of possession of a controlled substance. At the same time and place, a 28-year-old Killeen man and a 39-year-old Killeen woman were also charged with 3 counts of possession of a controlled substance. A 35-year-old Lampasas woman was taken in on a probation violation and a Caprice Pro fine, a 21-year-old Lampasas woman for possession of a controlled substance, and a 29-year-old Kempner man for a DWI and an immigration hold. Lomita had a quiet weekend. Kempner went out on a couple of shots fired calls, worked a few civil matters, and were sent out on a suicidal call. County deputies cleared a wreck, responded to a criminal mischief call, a few animal complaints, and rolled out to Cove on a structure fire. A reported assault and responded to an alarm. The burn ban is back into effect for Lampasas County. Stick around, more Lampasas local area news is coming up next.
Ran into an old friend the other day, lives in a town about 40 miles from here. Hadn't seen him in a long time, glad to renew the acquaintance. After talking old times for a while, I asked him why he was in town. Said he came here every so often, mostly to go to Hoff Power's Ranch and Supply to pick up feed or renew his feed contract. Really, I says, do they treat you right? Oh yeah, he says, I check around on prices here and there, and they're right on down there on cattle feed, especially if you contracted. Store inside's pretty good too, he says. Get your blue jeans or a pair of boots if you need them. Better selection of clothes and ranch stuff too than you can find around here anywhere. Pretty good recommendation, I thought. Hoff Power's Ranch and Supply in Lampasas.
It's back to business for the city and county employees. All offices are open for their regular hours. Lampasas students gear up for the first day back to school tomorrow. Today is the last day of Christmas break. However, school staff returns today. The Lampasas County Livestock Show kicks off this Thursday. So far, it's planned as usual. Exhibitors will be coming through the show ring through midday on Saturday, then back again for the annual Buyer's Dinner and Premium Sale Saturday evening. There's a lot of questions about the COVID-19 vaccines, including how long will immunity last? TSN's Barbara Swartz explains.
Dr. Paul Klopman, president and CEO of the Baylor College of Medicine, believes it will last longer than it would have had you gotten and recovered from the virus. And he says there have been very few cases of people getting COVID-19 twice.
There are some. They're reported because they're interesting, but they're very, very few cases. So we can take some solace in the fact that if you've been naturally infected, it seems to protect you at least for the time we've had this disease around.
He says those who have recovered from the virus need a vaccine anyway. Barbara Schwartz, TSN News.
You've always had to have a passport to travel internationally, but what about one that affirms you have received your coronavirus vaccine?
Smartphone apps are being developed as a way to prove you've got the shot, and Texas A&M professor Vicky Shankar says they will be a key part of easing COVID concerns and getting the economy restarted.
Particularly for travel and public places like restaurants, all those places where you need the economy to be back in a normal state of things.
He says one of these apps will eventually win out and be accepted by everybody, but until that happens, there will be confusion about which COVID drugs will be listed as acceptable and by whom. Michael Board, TSN News.
In sports, Badger Boy varsity basketball sits at 13-1 after beating Hamilton last week 71-55. JV and freshmen also came home winners. The Badgers hit the road tomorrow to take on Saladio. In sports, Badger Boy varsity basketball sits at 13-1 after beating Hamilton last week 71-55. JV and freshmen also came home winners. The Badgers hit the road tomorrow to take on Salado, with the freshmen tipping off at 5:30 and JV and varsity to follow. The Lady Badgers took out 6A Hutto on Saturday, 45-38, putting them at 16-2 for the season. The JV fell short, 46-24, and the undefeated freshmen had no problem with the Hippos, putting the score 40-19 at the buzzer, putting them at 12-0 for the season. District play kicks off this Friday on home court against their new district competitors, Gatesville, who sits at 3-8. Tip-offs at 5 and 6:30.
For your COVID-19 update, yesterday's estimated active COVID numbers reported from the state shows Bell County jumped to 2,296. Coryell County is down 5 to 600. Burnett is down 40 since Friday, putting them at 191 active cases. Mills up 11 with 75, San Saba down 8 with 48, and Hamilton down 18, now with 104. Here locally, as of this morning, Lampasas County Health Authority Dr. Georgia Hay is reporting 993 total cases, 68 of those being active cases. The county is reporting 15 fatalities and at least 4 remain hospitalized.
Thank you to our viewers. We'll be here again tomorrow. I'm Casey Chapman here with your local Lampasas area news.